Hello, how to become a saint. For men, in my opinion, this is what I need to do. You need to subdue your penis or your sexual urges. You need to be able to control yourself. You need to control your bad speech, make it only good speech. And your hands, you must keep them from hurting others. Whether you physically punch them or simply you don't do any work with your hands. You don't wash dishes. You don't mop the floor. Um, you could begin with that. Next, your thoughts. Your thoughts must be constructive and encouraging for yourself and for others. A constructive thought, you could start by organizing or putting your room in order, reading a couple of books and donating them. You can also make videos of the books you read, or like I do, I rewrite many ebooks that I read. Sometimes their words are outdated or 100 years old. A great book that I just read was The Power of Concentration by Dumont. It's free at LibriVox, and it mentions how a magnifying glass can focus the light of the sun and start a fire. But without the magnifying glass, the sun is there, but the light is not concentrated, and there is no fire. So you need to concentrate your thoughts. You can, you will, you must. Read about the saints. Some of them were very strange. I like Don Bosco because my grandma told me about him. That would be the reason, I guess. And in the stories that I read, he trained a dog to jump on top of a cow when he was a kid. But what I liked about him was that he began an organization called the Salesians. And they supposedly helped the orphans. There's a documentary video called The Miracle of the Polygano. It's a bit strange, the name. The Miracle of the Polygon, where it was that one Salesian priest in El Salvador got 10 industries: the t-shirt industry, the shoemaking industry, the metalworking industry, the carpentry industry, the tortilla making, tortillas, food industry. And he built the kitchen cookware industry. He built all of those 10 industries, which is why they called it a polígono. And these people would teach each other, like they would get kids from the street and bring them to live there, and they would teach them to make shoes, the girls to cook and to make tortillas or something, the painting industry. And it was a miracle that they did all of this. Before that, it was all prostitution and gang violence. What I liked about Don Bosco is that he started this organization What's missing is that most people haven't heard of it. The Salesians. What's missing in my life is that I made a promise to my children that I would not leave them, so I'm here. However, I don't have any skills except for reading with them, talking with them, and only my son really talks with me. The daughter does not. She's disappointed because I don't buy her anything. So the skills that I have, what I like about these orphanages is that they teach job skills to these orphans. And I believe that all schools should teach job skills. The ones that really like poetry and history, well, they can learn that on their own. But every 10-year-old should be on his way to becoming an electrician, if not an electrician already. At least making shoes. Alright, so in most of these videos that I make, I see ways that the world could be better. If you don't work in the United States, you're pretty much homeless. The only reason I'm not, technically, is because I have a mother in the room next door, and she pays the bills here. Plus the spouse pays part of the bills. And I tell my kids that I'm a homemaker. But my daughter says to me, Daniel, you don't cook, you don't wash dishes, you don't clean the house. You're not a homemaker. The way I look at it, yes, I am a homemaker. The only reason I didn't wash dishes is because I want to spend time with the kids doing chores with them. And the spouse has already divided everything up. She says, you and the boy go do the dishes, and the girl and the women will do the dishes on another day. So I have like zero interaction with my daughter except good morning. She wakes me up in the morning and says goodbye. I say goodbye, daughter. You can, you will, you must. That's what I tell her. Be better than I am. Which in many ways, she's a perfectionist. She knows how to cook. Alright, I'm 41. I still don't know how to cook rice or pretty much anything besides eggs and oatmeal. I don't know how to cook beans. I don't know how to make tortillas, tamales. But the reason I don't is because my mother, I blame her for so many things, right? She told me not to touch any of her cookware. And to this day, I just don't go in the kitchen. You see, when children are too obedient, they have big problems. So with my son yesterday, he came and he said he was hungry. So I said, alright, let's go cook something. But then he began to read his book, so I said, okay. I read my book. He read his. Then later, he said, I'm hungry. And I said, well, let's go cook something. And finally, he got up to cook something. I'm raising him differently than I was. All right, go up, read up on Don Bosco. One of the mysteries was that he had a dog that protected him from the bad men back then. People used to walk, right? For some reason, these bad men didn't like Don Bosco, and they were waiting to shoot him. And Don Bosco lived with his mother, and she said, "It's raining outside, don't go out tonight." And Don Bosco said, "I'm going." And then the dog growled at him and stood in front of the door. And then she said, "If you don't listen to your mother, at least listen to your dog." So Don Bosco didn't go out that night because it was raining. And the next day, for some reason, he gets called to the hospital. And I'm not sure if it was both men or just one that had intended to shoot Don Bosco. They had caught pneumonia because they had been waiting out in the rain for Don Bosco to walk and that they would shoot him. And so Don Bosco went to hear their last confession in the hospital, I think. There are other strange stories about him. If I read the book correctly, his shirt had a hole in it from a bullet, right in the center. I'm not sure wherever his heart was, somewhere on his shirt, on his cassock. And it came out on the other side. But Don Bosco was not injured at all. He didn't have a bullet wound in his body. So they attribute that to a miracle. But again, all these saints, what they do is they point to Jesus. I like to become a saint, to accomplish something big. I've done plenty already. My children are in the top 2, top 3 students in their classes. I don't see that as a big thing. It's big only in the sense that, gosh, I guess the other parents don't read with their kids. That must be the only... My mother said to me, "You gave both of your children such a strong root in reading when they were young, that even now these children read books." And that's why they are the top students in their classes, among the top students. Another lady, okay, the spouse, she said, "You know that the only students that have the top grades are the immigrant children?" Of course, I didn't notice that. But she said, "Look, that one is from India. That one is from somewhere else. Only the immigrant children are really achieving much in school." Alright, be better than I am. Read up on Don Bosco. Thank you. You can, you will, you must. To control your penis, just basically avoid places where the women are, the women that excite you. Another thing you can do is get busy. Like now that I have kids, especially my son, since I I spend so many hours with him. We exercise every day. We read, we exercise, we talk, we play, we walk places, to the library, to the park, to around the block sometimes. That's when the mother or the spouse doesn't let us go anywhere, so we just walk around the block. She says it's raining, it's windy, it's cold, he was coughing last week. Some other. I would really like, even though I promised I would not go to Chicago, so I wouldn't go back to Chicago, but I don't want her to go to New York because I think it's equally dangerous. But I would like to send this spouse somewhere. I heard that there's a big mall up there. Well, either way, I would like to send her somewhere that I've never been to. I would possibly go there for maybe 3 days, like Alaska, just so that she understands what the cold weather is. Because she says, oh, it's 60 or 50 degrees out here. Don't let the kids go out. And I remember it being very, very cold in winter. You can, you will, you must. You can help me also, by the way. Uh, please read the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and watch the video by Gary Davis, the Gary Davis story, and contact me. God bless you.